Hello YouTube, this is Game Room Nation and my first video in almost 6 years. And for my first new video, I kind of want to show off something special. It's a Bartop custom-made arcade cabinet. Essentially, it's a souped-up PC that's really in here that runs the Hyperspin front-end menu system. It's loaded with 75 different emulator platforms. I generally don't see a lot of people in America posting videos about their Bartop arcades. Most of the people that I see with the same exact model of a machine are generally in France and Spain, which is kind of made it hard for me to make a decision on getting a machine like this, especially because it does cost quite a bit. It's approximately $3,000, 3,000 US dollars. To ship it here from the United Kingdom. There is a manufacturer that does do the same type of machine in Wisconsin that I did in my research. However, the reason I went with tinyarcademachines.co.uk is for two reasons. One, I like the setup at which they built the machine. It's very sturdy, it's very modern, it's very 1990/2000 style of an arcade cabinet kit. And the other reason too is size. The manufacturer in Wisconsin that I was looking at, they were able to kind of get the machine to 80 pounds and slightly wider back. I believe it was 26 inches by 26 inches were the smallest they could get a machine at. And the reason behind that was because they would put a scroll trackball right here in the middle. But tinyarcades.co.uk, what they were able to do is essentially get it really even smaller than that, and they were able to get this to just under 40 pounds, and this approximately measures 21 inches in depth and I believe 17 inches wide. So just from a size perspective, just lugging this around, especially if you live in, a small home or a small apartment, and you don't want something very obtrusive or huge, this machine in this size is like perfect. So, especially here for me, like I'm carrying this around, and I don't want it to be an inconvenience in terms of like me moving to like another location in the future. And secondly, you just don't want something so huge and obtrusive that it's kind of like an eyesore and just looks like really childish and kiddish in the middle of like your home. So this arcade machine, this cabinet setup in this size is very, I would say, welcoming, and it's very accommodating to like any, room or I guess business area that you would love to place this in. So the other thing too that I did is that I noticed that it's different from what I saw how other people do their arcade machines is just the outer aesthetics. So I actually designed, it may not seem like much, but I actually designed my marquee and all the vinyls that are around my machine. Now a lot of people, they like to put like all these crazy stickers on the side, and I'm kind of against that, mainly because it's just very childish looking, especially for a machine that costs so much. I would assume most of the people here that are getting this machine are probably, I would say, older professional adults. So wouldn't it really make sense to have something that looks like, a kid's toy and kind of like tackily designed with all like stickers on the side? It wouldn't really make sense. So I actually felt it's probably better just to keep it at a minimalist look. I mainly only just did like these Sonic logos on the side of my machine, and I kept it to like a straight up white and black tone for the color, for the coloring of the actual machine. I didn't want to make it like too out of control. And just the last thing I guess I did here, the main reason I bought this machine is over here, if you can read it. I made this as a dedication to my sister. She was the one that actually got me into video games in the first place, and some of my best memories came from playing video games with her when as a kid. She recently passed away, and so this machine, has all the games that we used to play as kids, and I bought this machine as a homage to my sister. And so the only thing I wish that I could have right now is actually have my sister around here to enjoy the machine with me. And so this machine is in her honor. And just another thing too, like again, like the way how the video game industry is leaning towards, they're eventually going to go toward a streaming demand service, somewhat like how Netflix is for movies and Hulu is for television shows. That eventually all the game systems we know will mainly just be streaming. So it doesn't really make sense to have these huge physical game libraries anymore. It's kind of like ugly eyesores and a bit freakish, especially if you have like visitors over. You know, they'll say, "What is all that stuff?" So having it just all your games, I know it's emulated, but having just all your games in just one box, one unit, and not only that, but having it in a really cool arcade style, kind of makes video games, you know, having a collection of video games doesn't make it seem so bad. You know, it actually makes it seem like it's kind of cool, a nice cool setup. It's almost like having a jukebox in your home, but for video games. And so just from like a social factor, it's just a lot better to have it in just like one compact arcade unit as opposed to just having these massive libraries that I usually see on game room tours that people generally have on YouTube. So let's fire up this bad boy and see what it looks like. So what's really cool is that it's lighted in the marquee. All the buttons are lighted, even the side buttons over there. And he also put trailer lights right at the bottom of the machine. And another cool thing to look at is the audio controls over here. If you can see, also are also illuminated and they change colors over time. Oh, there you go. So anyways, here's the startup screen for my machine. So it has 75 emulated platforms on it. Most of the stuff here, it goes from anything from the 1960s or 1970 games like whatever this is, Emerson Arcadia 2001, all the way down to like more recent stuff such as PlayStation 2, GameCube. But the real meat of having a system like this is really for like the MAME games here. And so what really this control setup works best with a lot of the MAME platforms, or MAME shooters and fighters and all that. So this machine is perfect for that type of experience. And you know, just comparing it to like a lot of the 3D analog games, you know, this is a setup that no matter what your experience is with video games, whether you're a pro or a kind of just like a casual gamer, anyone will be able to get into it. And when it kind of looks like this, everyone knows how to do it. It's not, excuse me, it's not so, I guess, like, intimidating when it's like when you come and look at like, current controllers now, like Xbox Ones or, the Wii U. This setup actually looks very welcoming to someone who has no idea how to play video games at all. And so that's something that's really cool. And again, that if you have guests over, they'll more likely be impressed by this more so than looking at it and saying like, why would you spend for something so expensive? The nice cool thing is there is a USB port in here. Unfortunately, it's actually underneath the panel, so it's a little bit in an odd location. And the reason you'll need a USB port is for some games that require analog control. You can attach like an analog controller to it, or you can actually attach a mouse to help, with the aiming and whatnot. And so what I actually did was I actually put a wireless receiver in my USB port, and so I'm actually using a wireless mouse, so I can use a wireless keyboard to do any configurations. Now the hardware itself is pretty solid. It's a 3 gigahertz Intel processor from what I believe, and an NVIDIA graphics card. I do testings of HD games that it's on the unit, such as for Street Fighter X Tekken or Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition. They work flawlessly on the system. No hiccups, no lag time. It's solid frame rates. So the machine, it pretty much can handle whatever you can throw at it. So So just from a, benchmarking standpoint, I would say right now this is like as solid of a game PC as you can possibly find out there. And again, what makes it really cool is just like, it's a backlit LCD screen, so the colors really vibrant, or they're really vibrant on the machine. And unfortunately, I wish we could use a CRT tube in the machine, but for what it is, for the screen, it's perfect, it's clear, it's gorgeous. So anyways, so this is my machine. I don't see many other Americans posting some of this stuff, but if you guys have any questions or making a decision as to whether you'd like to get a machine like this, I highly recommend it. I think if you're a hardcore gamer, this is something like you definitely should have eventually. And again, when it comes to design-wise, I think, while a lot of like these manufacturers can provide a lot of like the marquees and the vinyl graphics, I think you want to make it custom to what exactly you want. Again, you're spending a lot of money, might as well just also spend the extra money to get something designed for the outer layers of it, and that actually makes it seem a lot more personal and like much more custom to you. So if you see anyone else using this, I'm the one that made this marquee, so yeah, again, I think this is a great setup. Approximately, again, it's 3,000 USD, and the wait time to kind of get this created is about like 12 weeks from order to delivery. But everything came out just great. The machine is like, really sturdy. It just feels like professionally done. You see this in your home, and this does not look like a homemade machine. This looks like a professional manufactured machine. So it's addictive. I love playing this machine. I've only had it for a few days, but I think it's well worth the purchase, and I can't wait to share the experience with some friends to check this out. So if you have any questions, guys, feel free to let me know. And yeah, and if you want to see any more footage, I'd be happy to post it. There's a good list of games in here. Some of the games I actually never knew ever existed. For example, go over here, go to a few of my favorites. For example, I didn't even realize that there was a Spider-Man arcade game. I never knew that there was a Sailor Moon arcade game, and it's actually not bad. It's actually pretty cool. So what's really great is the games that are loaded on here. It's really extensive. Again, it's 45,000 games. Some of them are doubles. Mainly, like, you'll see like games that are for the Neo Geo arcade system are also found in the Neo Geo AES and the Neo Geo CD emulators, but still, it's kind of cool just to see the differences between the platforms, especially if you're like intrigued by just like technology and retro hardware. Everything, the emulators here run fairly well. I'm looking at anything that's on MAME is pretty much like flawless. When you get to stuff for like the systems that require analog control, it can be a little tricky with the setups, but again, like from a graphical and I guess from a graphical perspective, everything here is working smooth, whether it be the frame rates, the latencies, or anything that has to do with like just like speed. Nothing to worry about. This machine can handle like pretty much even like top HD games right now. So anyways, that's all I have for my video. So if you guys have any questions or where to purchase, feel free to contact Gabriel at tinyarcademachines.co.uk. And yeah, and thanks again for watching my videos. Leave a comment.